Hi everyone, this is Sunette here in this video to introduce the Fears and Phobias series available on EQAFE. So what this series is all about is explaining the nature of fear as well as phobias. What do we mean by that? With the access that we have through the portal, the multidimensional, interdimensional consciousness, beingness, and also physical realms, we have a unique access in being able to directly see how a fear exists, why it exists, how it is created, where does it come from, what does it look like, and not only fears but also phobias. Explaining in detail how a fear can evolve and progress into a phobia over time, or as many may also experience, sometimes fear can stay purely as a fear for most of your life, or you can just suddenly, unexpectedly develop a phobia in relation to something or someone. So what is fascinating about the series and what makes it different is obviously the access on all the dimensions that we have through the portal. But not only that, it's quite amazing, the detailed information that you get in each, as we walk through each fear or each phobia. And we explain both parts. Like, for example, let's say we walk through the fear of dying in a car accident, for example. Then we'll also explain, how the fear of dying in a car accident can become a phobia of dying in a car accident. What's the difference between fears and phobias? Not only that, within each individual fear that we walk through, we explain in detail how exactly that fear had been created in your mind on a subconscious, unconscious level. We also explain what the fear looks like. What does that mean? We for example, think fears are fears and phobias are phobias. But within the series, you'll actually learn that along with the fear, the emotional experience of fear, there's also oftentimes so many other emotions involved. And when we want to face fears or change it inside ourselves, to release ourselves from the emotional experience of fear in relation to that which we fear, we think we only have to work with the fear in itself, not realizing that there's actually so much more within and behind that fear. And this is the levels that we take you through within each given interview. Fear of car accidents, fear of animals, fear of surviving, fear of money, all sorts of phobias. So we're making our way through the series to essentially walk through every and all fears that exist, as well as phobias. And what I also mean with going through the deeper levels of the mind and our consciousness into the subconscious and the unconscious and the depths of ourselves is you'll discover and uncover that there's actually so much more behind that fear that's actually driving and fueling that fear inside yourself. So having that understanding and that insight and that perspective will guide you so that you can guide yourself through a process of releasing yourself from the emotional charge, the emotional experience of fear, and also so many other emotions that can be involved within a fear that exists within you. And so together with explaining in detail and understanding how exactly is that fear being created inside yourself, just that understanding, I have personally found many listening to the series and going, just because I could understand how I created that fear, it already just released so much of that fear energy and that experience inside myself. So this is why it is also important to have that in-depth understanding. Where do the fears come from? Why do they exist? How do they exist? How do they affect your mind? Not only your mind, but also your body. And then we also walk a process of how you can practically assist and support yourself to release the fear within you and everything that is connected or interconnected with it. I always for many years thought fear was a fear. It is as how it comes up inside of me. But when I started getting access into the deeper levels and dimensions of my mind and my consciousness, and understanding more about how this fear had actually come about, I do not just accept the fears that come up within me at face value. I'm always curious as to, okay, what's going on deeper within and behind this fear that I can learn about myself, that I can look at. So it really sets you off into quite a journey of self-discovery, self-understanding, self-opening up, self-intimacy. You get to know how your mind works so much more in understanding fears and phobias. So as much as it is about fears and phobias, it is actually also something so much more than that, as we go deeper into the realms of our mind and our consciousness. And just in walking with the series, you'll actually come to not fear itself anymore, but actually create a relationship with it in a way of, okay, a fear has come up in me, or a phobia, let me see what more is there for me to learn about myself, my own mind, and my experiences. And not only that, but how I can change. All right, thank you very much for listening. Looking forward to your participation in EQAFE.